Okay, we're continuing in Otzros Chaim Sha'akudim Perek in the around the middle. Yeah, around the middle of Perek Sha'akudim. Now we're going to explain this whole creation of the Kiyam that we spoke about before. Kine Or HaMalchus lo hishir b'shimo. Now Or HaMalchus, when it went up back into the peh, went one step up, and went up to the Kli of Yisod. It didn't leave back a Rishimo in the Kli of Malchus. All of its or, all of the different aspects went up. We're going to see all the rest of we already spoke about it, all the rest of the oros, when they went up, they left a Rishimo. It was one of the types of oros that were left to be mirrored to the Kli underneath it. But Malchus didn't leave it. This is the reason why Malchus is called a speklaya, a mirror that doesn't have anything inside of it. Because it didn't leave any imprint inside of the back in its kli. However, the Rishimu that was left in Yesod will also shine, will also go for Malchus. And there's another reason why, we're going to see why the Malchus is called a sphere that doesn't have anything in and of itself. It doesn't have one of its own types of or light. This is what we explained before. Another reason for the fact that the Malchus is considered not having any of its own light. As the Or came back into the Kli, we're going to see as the Or comes out of the Adam Kadmon again back into its Kalim. Nisha Kli dovuk b'matzil v'lo yard klal. We find that the Keser was dovuk b'matzil, stayed inside the matzil, inside Adam Kadmon, and didn't come out at all. Only the rest of the 9 spheres came out and took their place in the Kli, as we're going to explain exactly how that happened. It comes out that Keser, since Keser stays inside the peh of Adam Kadmon, inside Adam Kadmon, Chachma comes out and takes the place, goes into the place of Keser. And similar with all the rest of the spheres, the Or of Bina is going to be in the place of Chachma, in the Kli of Chachma, and the Or of Das and the rest of the Or of Chesed is going to be one level higher than it is going to be in Bina. The Nisha Kli Shel Malchus Bilti Or Klal. Come out that the Kli of Malchus won't have any Or, because the Or of Malchus would be in Yesod. Because every one of the Ors went one step above where it really naturally would be. And therefore, there's another reason why Malchus is called a speklaya d'lo nahar. Now, someone points out here, I don't know who it is, I think it's Kem Shlomo. Yeah. The Kem Shlomo points out that there's two different types of terms that Malchus is called void of any light. One is called a speklaya d'lo me'ir, a speklaya that doesn't have anything of its own, and another term for Malchus is a speklaya d'lo nahar, that doesn't shine. So he explains that it's connected to these. The Kem Shlomo, I think he's the father of Mordechai Eliyahu, Zatzal, who was nifter this year. His father was the Kem Shlomo, and he was a big Mukbal. He writes that the fact that it doesn't have any of its own light is meaning it doesn't even have a Rishimo. That's expressed in the term Aspeklaya Deleisle Migarma Klum. It doesn't have anything of its own. Garma means from itself. However, in the second term, we're saying that it doesn't have any light at all. Not even light from a different sphere. It doesn't have, because we see that the light of its own, the light of Malchus went into the Kli of Yesod, so it didn't have any light at all. So that's Aspeklaya d'lo nahar. It doesn't shine with any light. Okay, v'kvar nisbar zeh b'makom acher be'or v'jusha akudim. We already explained this, or we're already going to explain this in length in Jusha Akudim. Now, when we're going back to speak about how the Oros take one step up to go back into the Peh, when the Or of Malchus goes into the Kli Yesod, Hayesod Meir Ba Derech Achal. When the Malchus is going up, the Yesod is Meir. We said that there's a Or Choser that goes back from the Or that goes up. So the Yesod now is going up. It's Meir Or Choser into the Or of Malchus. Canal, that's also Ha'or the Yesod, Hikab or Zeshel Malchus. Now the Or of Yesod is shining back down to the Or of Malchus, and it hits the Or of Malchus that's now going up into a place of Yesod. V'nafal min ha'or ha'yor derech achorayim b'chinas nitzotzos l'kli shel Malchus. And the Or Nafal min ha'or ha'yor derech achorayim, from the Or that goes back from Yesod, for what's called b'chinas achorayim, come b'chinas nitzotzos l'kli shel Malchus. Nitzotzos are made from this hakah, from the hitting of the Or of Choser with the Or of the Malchus, which is going up. Those two lights hit and they make sparks. These sparks are going to join in and bind with the Kli of Malchus, and they're going to create the Kli of Malchus, to finalize the Kli of Malchus. And also, when Yesod went up, it did the same. It did a little differently. Sorry, it did leave a Rishima. We said by Malchus did not leave a Rishima, an imprint, but Yesod does leave a Rishima. And when the light came from the back, meaning when it came back from Hod, the level on top of it, the Or on top of it, shined to Yesod. It hit this Rishima which was left in Yesod. The Or of Hod shined light backwards down to Yesod, and it hit the Rishima of Yesod. Those two lights hitting the Rishima and Or Choser of Hod made sparks. And from that, the finalization, the creation of the Kli of Yesod was finalized. Then that Rishima was Machaya the Kli. Now Vaz also Rishima Hay Machaya the Kli. Now this Kli, this Rishima of Yesod, is going to be Meir and Machaya the Kli from a distance. ולא נכנס בסופו, והם סוד התגים, כמו שהסבר לכמה, בעזר שם בדרוש הנקודים, אין שם. Now, the nitzotzos actually bind, go into the Kli to create the Kli, become like part of the Kli. However, the Rishima doesn't. The Rishima stays away, slightly aloof from the Kli, a distance from the Kli, and that's a bechin of tagim, like the crowns on top of the osios, which aren't really part of the osios, but it's like kind of standing on top of the osios. So the osios are like the Kli, and the osios are like the Kli, and the tagim are like the osios are like the Kli, and the tagim like the crowns. That the Rishima is like the tagim that stay on top and slightly separated from the osios. And similarly, all the spheres except for Keser did this process, where there was a Rishimo and the light went above it and hit and then made sparks, and those sparks joined up the Kli to finalize the Kli. Because the Kli of Keser, the Or Keser left a Rishimo, left an imprint that would shine down to Chachma, to give sustenance to Chachma, but did not make a Bechinas Kli, because we're going to see that there were no lights on top of it to shine back into the Rishimo of Keser, to have Hakah, to have a hitting, and making of the sparks. So, since they didn't have a light on top of it, that would be meir down to the Rishimo, there were no sparks and there was no Kli, proper Kli. I understand he's saying it's good by all the rest of the spheres that there's a kli, because there's one or that's left behind, which is the Rishima, and there's another or, the level above, which let's take Yisod, for example, like we saw that. There's one Rishima that's left behind, and there's the or of Hod, which is also going up. The or of Hod going up shines to the Rishima, and this shining from the Hod hits the Rishima and makes sparks. These sparks make the kli of Yisod, but Kesser doesn't have that, because Kesser doesn't have a sphere above it, like a Hod, to shine to it. So therefore the kli was not finalized properly, was not completely final. This aspect of the kli wasn't there at all. The aspect of the Yitzhak of the kli, which is what we're talking about here. The reason why I keep on saying that it wasn't finalized is because Pashtus, there was an or avagas, which was left, the thick type of or, the more base type of or, and that base type of or is really the essence of the material of the kli. And this material probably, apparently, was left by Kesser. Just that the sparks weren't there, the tzimtzotzos weren't there, and therefore, the Rav here is calling that the kli not being in existence. HaKesser ein mi sheyovo b'al yasov b'rishima shelo. There's no one to hit the Kesser's Rishima when it goes up. There is no sphere on top of Kesser that's going up that now is going to shine to the Rishima of Kesser to make sparks. Therefore, the kli was not finalized. The kli of Kesser was not finalized. Here we see that Kesser left a Rishimo but did not leave a kli. And all the rest of the spheres had a Rishimo and a kli. The Malchus left a kli and did not leave a Rishimo. That's just the summary. So basically, Kesser has or doesn't have a kli. As a Rishimo doesn't have a kli. Malchus has a kli but does not have a Rishima, because it doesn't need to shine technically underneath it, doesn't need to be made technically underneath it. And then all the middle spheres have both a kli and a Rishima. Okay. Vomel. After the spheres went up into the pair and received no or from the pair, they went back into the cave. They went back out of the pair and went back to a certain kli at least. We're going to see which one. I think we already explained it a few times maybe, that they went back into the kli above it, but the kesser stayed back inside the pair. Kanal. The kli of Kesser was actually created when the or of Chachma went into the kli of Kesser. Then the kli of Kesser was finalized, because we said up until now the kli of Kesser was lacking the nitzotzos, which will finalize the last step of the creation of the kevin, or the chiyus of the kevin. And that didn't happen when the Oros went back into the path. But now when the Oros are coming back out of the path, so then when Chachma reaches into Kesser, there's going to be sparks. We're going to see nitzotzos, and these nitzotzos are going to create kli. Because when Chachma came back out of the path and went into the kli of Kesser, then the Or of Chachma, Hike Or Chachma, the Rishimo Sheniach HaKesser B'Mkom. The Or of Chachma now hit the Rishimo that Kesser left in its place. Vayakos Kfulus, and there were double Hakos. There's two types of hitting here. In general, we saw only one type. Here we're going to see two types. Lefi Sharishimo Shel HaKesser Leyoso B'Chin Alyona Mina Chachma Lechen Hu Make B'Chachma Motzi Nitzotzos. On one aspect, the Rishimo of Kesser is greater than the new Or of Chachma which comes in. And therefore the Rishimo of Kesser is like a B'china Zachar, is like a male aspect, and the B'china of Chachma is like a female aspect, a lower aspect. V'gam ha'chachma liyoso ba'ata milamala nimtza omedes al Rishimo v'gvom. Now since Chachma also is coming from a much higher place, it's higher than Kesser, and it's more mushlam than Kesser, even the Rishimo of Kesser. Therefore, it's like the Zahar, and therefore it is, and the Keser is a Bechin of Nekeva. So there's another type of lakos that come out through that. And also that there are two aspects of hitting here. There's one aspect where the Chachma is the Zahar and the Keser is like the Nekeva, and those two hit and make sparks. And there's another aspect where the Chachma is the Nekeva and the Keser is the Zahar, and that also makes sparks. Now, since there are two types of sparks coming out, there are two types of kilim that are going to be made. One for the Rishim of Keser, which was there already, and one for Chochmah that was now created. That came out now for the second time from Adam Kadmon. We already explained at length this idea in a different place. How in Keser there's a Zachar and Nekeva, we'll see it later. Vehem Elu Hashnaim Shibyan upon these two Bechinas of Kelim, which are in the Keser, which are in the sphere parts of Keser, we're going to see is these two types of Kelim that are created here. Shem HaRishimo VaChachma, which are the Kli of the Rishimo and the Kli of the Chachma. Vain Sham Hetiv, and we should, Bez Hashem Bizover, to learn it there very, very well. Vain Sham Hetiv.